Hi, subscribe to the channel, and for 1000 subscribers on the channel a video with stories for 24 hours will be released and also a bonus which you will learn about in the future.
She had the most beautiful face I had ever seen, and I couldn't believe I was going on a date with her. My friend introduced us. He said you'd like her. She was really nice and friendly. I asked him why he wasn't dating her. The answer was that he had actually dated her once, but it hadn't worked out. Oh, so now I'm dating secondhand clothes. What's wrong with her? Anyway, I went on the date and everything was fine. She seemed nice to me. She looked like a young version of Julia Roberts. I get that a lot, she said when I told her. We went to a restaurant and talked for a long time about something strange. As I was driving her home, we agreed to meet again the following weekend. On Friday, I pick her up, and as we're driving down the main road into town, she suddenly lets out a scream. "It's him!" She points to the meeting car. I see the car slow down and turn around behind us. It turns out that her psycho ex has hooked up and is now following us down the highway. I pick up speed, trying to figure out what's going on. Am I in a movie? There's a beautiful young woman driving fast behind me, screaming, "Go, go, go!" And I'm like James Bond trying to shake off the bad guy who's following us. I flagged down the exit and turned the car slightly toward the exit, then abruptly turned the car back onto the highway. My little trick worked. Mr. Psycho pulled off the exit and disappeared from view. "What a relief," she said. "Good job," leaning toward me and smiling. Now I was officially her hero. "Come on over to my place," I said, "because this maniac doesn't know me or where I live. We can hide the car in my garage, draw the curtains, and just enjoy the evening by the fireplace." So we drove to my house. As far as I could see, there were no cars. As I pulled into the driveway, I told her to wait in the car while I opened the awning. I picked it up and turned to go back to the car, and there he was, right in front of me. He was truly a psycho. I could see the madness in his eyes. I knew I had about 3 seconds to decide whether to run, attack, or use some kind of diplomatic approach to defuse the situation. Meanwhile, my companion had jumped out of the car and was yelling at him to back off. I'm not a big fist fighter, but at that moment I thought it might be best to act tough. I took 2 steps toward the intruder, looked him straight in the eye, and said, "You're getting my property or there's going to be big trouble." He flinched, cursing his insecurity, so I took 2 more steps and said in my manliest voice, "Did you hear me? Back off." He turned and walked away. I could pause the story right here and tell you how dangerous this situation could have been, but I won't, so I'll get back to my adventures with a Julia Roberts impersonator. We'd been dating for a few weeks without incident, and her birthday was coming up. I asked her if there was anything she wanted to do. "I want to go see David Bowie live in a big city," she said. I knew she loved Bowie, so I bought tickets, and off we went. It was a 5-hour drive away, and we had no plans other than to see David Bowie. The concert was amazing. It was outdoors under the stars. There must have been thousands of people in the arena. About halfway through the show, I felt someone tug at my jacket. It was my girlfriend. She was white as a sheet. "Don't turn around," she said, "but he's here." "Who's there?" I asked, as Bowie danced across the stage singing "Rebel, Rebel." "He's a lunatic," she shook. "We've got to go now." So we made our way through the crowd and found a car. What now? We had nowhere to go. The only thing I could think of was to keep moving, so we drove into the night. Soon we were on the highway heading back to our hometown. I assessed the situation, taking into account all the possible scenarios. If this maniac saw us leaving the show, he was probably on our tail by now. With a 5-hour drive, there was a good chance he'd catch up. Maybe if we turned off the highway and found a back road, we could outwit him again, I said. So we started looking for a suitable exit. After a short while, we found a good spot to get off the highway. We turned down a gravel road into the woods. I remember thinking, what if he saw our taillights and decided to lurk around, to come and kill us during the night? He might have a knife or an axe. You never know what a jealous psycho is capable of. After a short ride, I turned the car into a bumpy tractor road between the trees. It led us up to a small field of grass. This could be a good place to rest and wait for the madman to give up. But still, my fear got the best of me, so I kept going over the field to the far end. Even then, I felt the need to back the car into some bushes. If he had seen us exiting the highway, he'd have a hard time spotting our car now, I thought as I turned off the engine. So, we folded down the back seat and for my wagon and laid down to rest. We were both pretty exhausted. All I could hear was my heart still thumping faster than normal. I also heard a low rumble in the distance. It was like a deep, continuous vibration. Before I could make up my mind what the sound could be, it grew louder. The car started shaking. It was like a UFO was hovering directly above us, ready to suck us up for examination and probing. Then the flashing started. Rapid strobes of white light flashed fast and lit up the inside of the car. I saw my girlfriend's pretty face lighting up again and again with a wild expression of disbelief on it. It ended as quickly as it had started. Soon we could only hear that same low rumble. Then nothing. I searched for my flashlight and climbed through the bushes around the car to look for clues. I found railroad tracks only centimeters from the back of my car. "Wow," was all I could say to the girl back in the car. "Wow." We broke up after this. Too much drama for my liking. I have no idea what happened to her, or the psycho for that matter. I'm living happily in ignorance about them.